Hey everyone, welcome to JoJo's World.
Oh, well, it's been a while.
Shut up.
How are you?
We took an episode off because of life, and this one's going to be late because of more life. So,
I feel that on a deep level. But on the plus side, we're still alive.
we're still alive. We're starting a new show today. We're going to have a great time.
It's going to be a booming time.
Nick, no one out there has any context for that thing you just said. This is, of course, JoJo's World, our JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast, of which I am Liam S. Smith, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Nick Ballantyne, the other one of the co-hosts.
Today we are, of course, watching the first episode of Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, a show about beautiful queer women in robot suits fighting boomers.
God, it makes me happy. It makes me so happy. It's definitely not an unashamed rip-off of Akira.
The year is 2040.
A mere 18 years in the future.
Computer technology still relies on floppy disks.
There's a man living at the top of something. We're not sure
In
what.
a room full of computers.
Well, we haven't seen the computers, just the screens.
Sure, yeah.
And a lot of cables.
It's very 90s sensibilities. There is, of course, a wall being knocked down right outside the JoJo's World Studios today. Hopefully, most of that's not picking up, but if it is, sorry.
I'm not. I can't control the weather. Hey, speaking of whether anyone
Sure,
cares,
yeah.
our patrons have been in full force lately.
The JoJo's World patrons, of course, care
They care almost...
about JoJo's World. Some might say more than we do, based on the amount of effort we put into recent episodes.
Well, to be fair, we do have new patrons, so I guess you're half right there. And
How apropos, Nick, because we do, of course, have a new episode of the podcast that you're listening to right now. And if you're not listening, then you're not hearing me say this.
ooh, if you say this and no one is listening to it, do you still
Did
say
I
it?
say it? Yeah, because you're here listening to me.
If a neo-Nazi recruits someone in the woods and no one's around to see it, does he make a second neo-Nazi?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Oh, we gotta shut that shit down.
Why did you go to that example?
Because it's a perfect example of how letting people do what they want is dangerous. And speaking of people who are dangerous,
That was
our new patron...
Top 10 weirdest aggressions of the podcast, Nick.
So, this episode, Liam, is brought to you, specifically and unashamedly, by Joby Tunk.
You want to
I
take
think
another
is
run
the
at
name.
that?
Job, it's definitely Joby, okay, it's Joby, and then it's Tunque, which could be...
Tunk?
Tunk? Tunke? Tunkui? Hello, my name is Joby Tunk.
No, we're not doing that.
Oh. Damn it. But anyway,
Joby!
Joby, my man.
Joby, thanks for coming along. Or Jobé.
Look, Mr. Job, okay?
Yobi.
We've got great news about
Could
your...
be a soft J.
We've got great news about your name change, okay? On the one hand, yes, your prior name, a little bit difficult to pronounce.
Look, Nick, if we've established any form on this podcast, it's
Yes.
not knowing how to pronounce anyone's names ever. So really, it's everyone else's fault that we're getting it wrong.
Specifically Job's in this case, since he's the one who's sponsoring this episode. And this is where we're making
Rookie
the claim.
error giving money to JoJo's World.
Let me tell you didn't have to do that in the first place, and here you are, giving us money.
Thanks,
We deeply appreciate what you're doing, but you're wrong.
Nick.
But we love you.
Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 is, of course, a remake / expansion of the 8-episode OVA series from, I believe, the 1980s Bubblegum Crisis, which I have never seen. As far as I'm aware, neither show features any bubblegum.
How many crises are there?
I think that the 80s version was like bubblegum pop sort of thing, whereas the
Right.
90s version is more sort of grunge,
Grunge?
as was the style at the time.
Literally.
But I would say there are somewhere between 20 and 26 crises.
Okay. All right. Is there a crisis per episode, or is it fluctuating as we move
So,
along?
from what I remember from the structure of this show, it starts off fairly episodic and then builds into a more long-form plot in the second half.
Right. Okay. Interesting. It starts off as, oh my god, the boomers, and then ends with the boomers.
The year is 2040. 6 years ago, Tokyo was devastated by an earthquake.
Ooh.
But it has been rebuilt through the labor of robots called boomers.
Huh. Who are key to the reinvigoration of
Yeah,
society.
and now it is sometimes also referred to as the megalocity.
Is it okay?
Megalo City,
Yeah.
megalocity. It's like, one of those metropolis
Yeah,
vibes.
is it meant to be Megalo City? Is that what it's meant to
Nick
be?
will have to listen and find out.
Because I know it's Megalopolis, but like...
It's a neon-soaked cyberpunk skyline with a big sky hook that goes into a space elevator.
Man, it sounds like a utopia.
Nothing's going wrong here.
Oh.
There are no oppressed underclasses.
Oh, that's good.
There is the regular police, and then there's a secret AD police that exists to fight boomers that go rogue. But no one's allowed to know that the boomers go rogue because the Genom Corporation controls the media.
I thought it was the Genome Corporation.
I thought it was Genom.
Well, it's Genom.
That's correct.
Genome is spelt Genome. So...
And Venom, starring...
Tom Hardy.
Yep.
Is
a movie.
now in cinemas.
Available now on Netflix?
Or Paramount
It's funny
Plus.
that noise you just made because
Go on.
it's very much the sort of noise that Tim Robinson would make in the sketch comedy show I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson,
Yep.
which Venom very much reminded me of.
Venom the movie,
Yes.
starring Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Now in theaters.
No.
Oh. All right, well, there are these boomers.
Nick, what have you been up to since we last recorded an episode of JoJo's World, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion
Oh,
podcast?
God, let me tell you, right?
Which was, of course, about a month ago.
So I've been living the high life. I found out how to make a stir fry.
Nice.
Let me tell you.
You got yourself a wok?
Yeah, I've got a wok. Oh, Liam, let me tell you about my goddamn wok.
You really don't need to.
It's round.
Have you seasoned it?
Okay, so
I don't really know what that means, but I understand you're meant to season a wok.
So about my wok, it doesn't need to be seasoned.
Wow.
It's a
A
non-stick.
wok for all seasons.
This is gonna sound insane to some people, but it's a non-stick wok. So you just chuck it in, and you're like, I'm a chef now. This is amazing. But imagine,
I'm so happy for
imagine the low IQ required.
you. Okay.
Me, exactly.
Sure.
Where someone's like, so normally with a wok, you have to season it before you use it. And then someone goes,
You've got the training wheel wok.
yeah, I got the baby wok that's like, you know what, just.
It's ready to wok from day dot.
Yeah, exactly. So I just put like a bunch of stuff in. It's not very good, but it's edible. Now,
Great. I'm so happy for you.
this is one of the 3 dishes I can cook. 2 of those are microwavable meals.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot cook another meal that is a microwavable meal, but I burnt it. I don't know how I did it, but I did that. That's my life right now. It's just figuring
Nick,
out
I'm going to
how
get you a cookbook for your birthday.
I have 3 cookbooks already.
I'm going to make you read one of your cookbooks.
But I hate reading. Every time you open... So, my mum, right, she got me the Women's Weekly Guide to Cooking.
Ah.
And it starts off in a very non-condescending way, being like, hello and welcome to your culinary journey. This is as much as art as it is science. But it is a journey. You have to learn. You have to understand.
Wait, is it an art or a journey?
It's all of the above.
Oh my God.
What is a journey if not an art in of itself?
A journey is the art of going somewhere.
And you're going to eat.
And you're going to hell.
So, like, literally, that's the first page where it's like, hello and welcome. You're like, okay.
It's like how all online recipe blogs have like 2 full pages of
Oh.
like, I made this dish of casserole for my beloved one beautiful summer back in the 70s. He went off to the Vietnam War and died. And then when he came back, everyone spat at him. But together, we still have this casserole. Anyway, what you do is you add like 6 pints of mayonnaise to it unnecessarily.
Oh, and by the way, my husband is a lich because he died in the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
But, you know, the souls of the Viet Cong will forever haunt him. Also, if you add in the mayonnaise midway through, it really crispens up the top.
Gross.
But it's like, that's it. It's like the whole thing you just read. You're like, stir fries are the basis of modern cooking. You're like, okay, how do I make one? Just put it in the thing.
And stir fry it.
And then you're like, wait, but what do I do in between? They're like, no, that you just stir it. Like, yeah, but...
Well, Nick, that was a wonderful answer to the question of what have you been doing for the past month?
Yeah, failing to learn how to live alone.
Yep. As for me,
You've been dead.
I've
You've
been
been a
starting a
dead
new
man.
job, having that go wonderfully wrong.
It's like, what are you doing?
I'm playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward. Turns out the church are the bad guys. Who would have seen it coming? Me.
I was actually rooting for the church. Maybe
Nick, shut up.
I can do that.
Episode 1
Yeah.
of Bubblegum Crisis
Yeah.
Tokyo 2040.
Yeah.
Can't buy a thrill.
Hit Is that actually the name of it?
Yeah.
Can't Buy a Thrill.
Can't Buy a Thrill is, of course, the debut studio album of the American rock band Steely Dan, which was, of course, immortalized in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 Stardust Crusaders through the character Dan of Steel.
So it is related.
Yes.
Is that actually the name of that album?
Can't Buy a Thrill, yes.
What the fuck?
And as you can see, they've got some beautiful cover art here with big red lips, eating a
killer
python. 2 out of 2 podcasters agree. That's the Australian confection, a killer python.
Hang on, can I just rant about killer pythons
If
for a
you
second?
really must.
Okay, 2 things. 1, killer pythons are shorter and less girthy than they used to be.
Okay.
Okay? Right? That is my first gripe with killer python.
P.S. I am not a crackpot.
In the 90s, there was a deli near the school I went to, and I would go there, I'd get my killer python, it was huge.
This was Glen Forest Primary?
It was Glen Forest Primary. I would go there.
This was the shop near the post office?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was so good. It was so good. And I'd be like, oh my god, I want to kill a python all the time. And
Are
then
you
one
sure
day,
you just haven't gotten bigger since you were in
because
primary
there was a
school?
massive controversy about this when I was about 14, 15, where they were like, killer pythons are reducing size. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? Why are you I remember the days when we had big killer pythons.
Overhunting of the native killer python breeding grounds has resulted in a stunted genome.
Yeah. Now, see, this wouldn't be a problem if they put the same weight in the packets of killer pythons.
But they don't.
But they lowered the number of killer pythons that are in a packet now.
Wait, don't you mean they kept the number of killer pythons the same, but they're smaller now?
No.
So you've got less
No.
python per pound?
So what used to happen is they said, no, you'll still get the same amount of like killer python.
Yep.
It's just that there'll just be an extra one rather than they'll all be long
Yep.
and girthy. And I was like, that's a shame, but at the end of the day, you can still buy them in a packet. You can still get them. You don't have to go to the deli.
If you
so
melt
much,
them
whatever.
down, you still have the same amount of like melted gelatin
Yeah, literal crystal meth for a 9-year-old.
put in your bath.
Yep. And then one day they were like, oh, we're not 240 grams anymore. We're actually 180. I will never forgive Alan for his absolute treachery.
For context, for non-Australian listeners, it is of course the Allen's Confectionery Company.
I will never forgive Alan for this, okay? They have...
Alan is just like the mysterious man we saw in this episode of this anime show. Just like
sitting in his fucking space elevator.
Yeah, space
home.
elevator, mysterious red robe, just watching his screens, being like, "Shh, hello, Jenkins. Remove
yes, sir.
one snake from all the bags."
Sir, are you sure that's the right move?
Yes, I need it to fuel my life computer.
But there's
1 million... Okay, follow me on this.
Okay.
The souls of 10,000 killer pythons
I'm with you.
have to be sacrificed to Alan every day to keep him alive. Nick enjoyed that one.
That was the moment I thought to drink my hot chocolate. I'm just imagining some guys like, but sir, some young 18-year-old will possibly not enjoy that move given his childhood memories were about numerous killer pythons in great quantity and great girth. Did I stutter, Jenkins? Did I fucking stutter? No. Do it.
This is, of course, our podcast about the amount of sweets that are in a bag. JoJo's World.
Look, if we could deep dive into the history of various confectionery...
Nick,
oh boy.
I very much enjoyed that deep dive into your childhood. Now let's take a deep dive into my childhood. The year is, according
sure you
to
wanna do
this
this?
old message board that I found, the year is 2001.
Oh, that's not a great year to start with. 2001. What a shitty year. Oh, it's the new millennium. Oh, it's
I
still the
don't
90s.
believe 9/11 has happened yet. This post was
Okay.
made on September 9th, 2003.
Yeah, that happened.
So America had not yet lost its innocence apart from all the other genociding and shit it did.
Yep.
SBS, Australia's multicultural public broadcaster,
Yep.
it was scheduled to air the first 2 episodes of Tokyo 2040, the subtitle of the show, Bubblegum Crisis.
The
And
super
my dad
broadcast.
was like, Liam, do you want to watch this show? And I was like, sure. Little did he realise that would set me down a path of freakitude and perversion I would never recover from.
So, wait, so hang on. Your dad introduced you to Bubblegum Crisis.
Which, by the same token, probably technically introduced me to anime.
Oh, no.
The biggest mistake of my life.
And now here you
I
are.
suppose I had seen, like, Pokemon by that point.
Oh,
but
okay.
this is the first, like...
This is your real exposure to some real anime.
Like, yeah, I would have been about 10 years old, I suppose, 9, 10, if it was 2001.
Oh, wow. Okay. The fact your dad took an interest in you watching anime.
I suppose he probably watched those first one or two alongside me to make sure it wasn't some sort of freak pervert show.
This woman on a motorbike? I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, you know what SBS in the 90s could be like.
Oh,
You could be getting a real sex show.
I remember there was a time where me and a friend were just sitting on a couch at his house, and we were like, let's just check SBS. We go over to SBS, and we see this woman running out of like a castle. We're like, ooh, maybe we're going to get some knights or something. And then just a naked dude runs out after us like, no, please, I slept with your sister once. And we were like, moving on.
SBS, baby.
SBS, just out of fucking nowhere. Just naked people everywhere. It's good times.
Okay, so we've officially passed the 15-minute mark without talking about the show, so I think it's about time we get started.
So, we have our main protagonist woman.
It's beautiful 2040, Tokyo. Lena
Kagayami? Lena Hiragami? Lena...
is having her first day as an office lady in her new job in Cyberpunk Tokyo. Her company works in the boomer business, but we don't know specifically how.
We don't know why, we don't know where.
It's Tokyo 2040. And her friend, who is unnamed...
quote-unquote friend.
Friend/co-worker is like, hey, if you're going to be late, the acting supervisor will make a big deal out of it, so sneak in. Oh, look at the shadow of the skyhook. It's almost lunchtime. Let's go buy our lunch. Then Lena bumps into a street cleaning boomer, who is the first boomer we see in this show, which is, of course, in this case, a big robot with a
big vacuum cleaner
like,
thing.
you know those, like, those vacuums that are like...
backpacks?
But it's also a floor polisher.
A floor waxer, if you will. Yeah.
And he's got a big backpack built into him to store detritus. And he's
detritus.
And he bumps into it and she's like, sorry. And then her friend gives us the... Okay, so I think a recurring thing of this show that we cover is going to be like the boomer quote of the week.
Oh, here we go.
She says, you don't need to apologize to a boomer, even if you are a new employee.
And Lena's just like, what?
But weren't boomers the power behind the reconstruction?
And unnamed friend is like,
let's go buy lunch. Anyway, throughout this episode, there's a whole bunch of people being like, I'm starting to hate boomers, or I just hate boomers so much.
Yeah.
Why do they have to make them look like humans?
Also, the skyhook is...
We follow the skyhook up into space.
Yeah. So, Lena takes a look at the skyhook. It's a big rod.
And it basically functions as a sundial.
Yeah. It's a space elevator that goes up into the sky and to a big space station.
And a news broadcast, a propaganda broadcast tells us...
One or the other.
Under the auspices of the Genom Corporation...
GENOM. ...
construction of the Shoham project has steadily progressed in orbit. The Shoham project is an ambitious endeavour to save the world by solving all of our energy needs. They still haven't solved climate change.
Well, no one needs to solve climate change when you have...
the Shoham project.
I was about to say, when you have an entire city get destroyed that produces a lot of carbon.
So basically we can assume that it is like a big, what's the word? Like...
Space elevator.
Yeah, but like on the other end is like a big like solar power array in space.
Yeah, something like that. Like it's this big station. I don't know what it was. I didn't get a good look at it.
And then alluded to in the soon-to-become famous Alan's riff, we see a mysterious old man in a red robe watching various computer screens.
He's gripping his chair arms very tightly.
And when I say watching various computer screens, I mean he's in a big, empty, misty room on a sort of cyberpunk plinth throne with all these blue lit up screens.
If you know what the Mechanicus are from 40k, he looks like one of those guys.
I don't. I know what the Golden Emperor is.
Ooh, well, if you know what the Golden Emperor looks like, he's currently sitting on his throne, and he's got a bunch of mist around the floor, and just a bunch of blue screens in the ceiling that are all at jaunty angles.
Meanwhile, back at lunchtime, Lena and her friend are buying... Lena? Standardize that. Lena. They pronounce it Lena in the dub, but I don't know if they were like just taking... Yeah, we're watching this subtitle, but I've only seen the dub before.
Yeah, because it's Linna,
Yeah.
so I reckon it's Linna.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Buying their lunch, and the serious heads out there who know what to watch for see that the TV screen is currently playing a music video with one of our other soon-to-be-met protagonists, Chris.
Ooh, she's wearing red.
As is her wont.
Red. The colour of,
ironically,
morals?
since we'll see, as later in this episode, her robot suit is blue.
Oh.
But with red highlights.
Oh, I thought the other one was... Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Oh.
No, because she does the same forehead thing.
Yeah, it's true. She does.
They buy their sandwiches. It's pretty uneventful. And Lina has read on the net. Very, very cyberpunk lingo here.
Does anyone in this day and age say on the net?
Only boomers.
We're never going to escape this, are we?
We're just going to call this episode like OK Boomer or something like that, right?
Just to get it out of the way.
Just to get it out of our systems.
I just feel like we should name this episode You Can't Buy a Thrill.
Or you can't buy as many killer pythons as you used to be able to.
Why can't you? Why the fuck did they make them small? Okay, it really irks me, Liam. It's like, you know how when in the past...
I can't do this again, Nick.
When in the past when we were like, capitalism is making everything worse?
Yeah.
This is the example of that applied.
Oh, because they've captured the market for gummy snakes.
Yes!
They've got a monopoly on it, so now they don't need to deliver a product of the same quality.
This is literally the boring dystopia, okay? This is the thing that we're like, the corporations rule. It wasn't like they're gonna be all oppressive. It's just that we get fewer killer pythons in our backs. Like, that's the... how do people not connect this?
Anyway, she's read on the net about a mysterious group of champions of justice, the Night Sabers, which, yes, sounds like lightsaber from Star Wars.
Because...
that's the kind of incisive insight that people come to JoJo's world for.
We know what things sound like.
Yeah. Words sound like other words.
Did you know that bike sounds like...
trike?
Did you know that Zuma...
I just love the idea of, like, in Obi-Wan's dusty shack, he's like, here, your father's night saber, and gives Luke his mech suit.
So, what is it? It's an elegant weapon.
From Tokyo 2040.
What year was that? Oh, that's many years in the future, my son.
So, yeah, she used to always watch clips of them on the net back in her hometown. Remember, she's just moved to Tokyo. She's a fish out of water. She's learning, but she's got moxie. Whereas Tokyo Friend is like, if they really existed, the television news would do a report on them. She's got peak, like, fox brain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's...
Plug into that Sky News bullshit.
She's got that, she's got that real, like... No. The media is correct.
Yeah.
But only this media.
And as we see later in this episode, like, the media are very interested in downplaying the boomer threat, because they are...
the boomers.
Much like... No, okay. I can't do that again this episode.
I think I've just broken.
Because, well, as we'll see later in this episode, there's, like, a boomer... There's a news broadcast that like makes no mention of the horrific events that occur momentarily.
Everything's fine,
but then are like sponsored by the Genom Corporation.
Yeah, they're very like, we're helping protect.
It's like media control, blah blah blah, keeping the dark secret in the dark where it belongs. There's a waitress boomer who looks like a human.
She looks very much like a human,
boomer, I guess.
Lina's friend just takes her lunch after the boomers.
Here's the line of the episode. Somehow I can't help hating boomers. I don't see why they have to look like humans. They could look like robots, couldn't they?
And Lina's like...
I think it's supposed to make it easier for us to be friendly with them. Then she almost gets hit by a motorcycle.
What the fuck, man?
It's a big red, as you kept saying, Akira slide motorcycle.
Oh yeah, it's very much that exact motorbike.
She falls over and hits her head and drops her delicious... what was that shot from JoJo? Saint Gentleman.
Saint Gentleman?
A delicious Saint Gentleman sandwich.
The one that now there's a hand in?
Yeah, Lina just drops her sandwich bag and a human hand falls out.
She's like, well, this is unexpected. This hand is much smaller than it used to be.
A heap of black tar comes out of her drink.
That's the real dystopian future, when your coffee is black tar. Yeah. Ugh.
So her friend is like, oh boy, you're a klutz, aren't you? She just got nearly hit by a motorcycle.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, she was walking on the road. Well, she wasn't at all. But she did almost get hit by a motorbike. But she did just fall over from the wind.
So she shows her moxie for the first time this episode, shouting at this woman who almost ran her down, like, well, you should pay for my lunch!
She's from a small town. She doesn't know the ways of things here.
Yeah, she doesn't know that she could get beaten to death with a lead pipe.
For saying the wrong word.
Yeah. The motorcyclist, who we later will learn is called Pris, doesn't respond.
But instead taps her forehead.
To indicate where Lina has cut her forehead. She looks down at her hand, sees blood on it, and when she looks back up, Pris is speeding off down the parking garage ramp?
The
question mark?
Tunnel circuits?
Yeah. Tokyo Friend, nearly a name for this character.
No, that's her name now.
Don't get involved with someone like that. Let's just go back to the office.
Country girl in Tokyo.
But she's like,
Friend.
no, I'll go down the pedestrian stairs and yell at her.
So in her high heels, she runs after her and is like, oh, it's so hard to run in these high heels. if she held onto the railing, she'd have more balance and could run faster.
But she doesn't hold onto the railing. Instead, she shimmies down a drain pipe at high speed and gets in front of the motorcycle and throws her arms out like, don't hit me with your motorcycle.
But when she lands, she breaks her heel,
Yeah.
thus rendering her left shoe useless, broken and disheveled.
Chris turns around and speeds away. Lina throws her shoe at her.
And she just is like
And then
crying.
she cries because like, oh, what a bad first day. I shimmied down a drain pipe for nothing.
God damn it.
And then the boomer middle management, the middle management boomer,
Yep.
like...
The literal manager who's like, oh, you don't have to worry about
What's
that.
the phenomenon of outsourcing things that used to be done by manual labour to machines? What's that called?
Automation?
Yeah, sure. They've automated middle management.
Yeah, with a boomer.
Yep.
Which isn't really automation since they're not really people.
Whoa, Nick. Too early to take a stance on that, surely.
I mean, look, the vibe
Okay,
I'm
like
getting.
you're right at this point in the show, but like one of the big questions, because this being a cyberpunk thing that we
Sure.
delve into,
Yep.
over the course of this show is going to be like, are machines people?
Well, they're not, are they? The
Not
machines. Oh, spoiler warning.
So yeah, middle management boomer was like, you can't work like that. You're missing a shoe and your makeup is a mess.
And she's just saying it pretty matter-of-factly. It's like, we can't have you working like this. You've lost your shoe.
Yeah.
Your
Lena
makeup's
says,
off.
I think I'm starting to dislike boomers, and the boomer is like, I'm a boomer.
And I would
Such
appreciate...
statements will affect your assessment.
And she responds with, yeah.
One yes is enough.
Yeah. And then the cold, judging eyes of the boomer look
She
at
is
her.
forced to mop the floor by the very sort of robot. The first one of which we saw was mopping the floor.
Oh, symbolism.
Commentary, wise,
Lower
yes.
class.
Anyway, a sleazy coworker comes by and is like, oh, you're a new employee. I'm going to take you to dinner.
And Lina's all like, oh, I wouldn't mind that at all. And he's like, yeah, I'm in charge of all the
I'll
new
give you
employees.
a tour of the city tonight. There's lots of interesting places here. It's nighttime. A big cyberpunk jet plane, gyrocopter,
Whatever happened to...
VTOL.
Whatever happened to... You know how in this shot, right? No, go over one more.
Yeah?
You know in this shot we got this massive beam of light that just goes up?
Nick, you are looking at the crack of light that comes through my window and gets caught in the photos
TV.
I take of the TV screen.
Right you are. Right you are. But like this, right? This massive...
Okay, there are
bit.
big green pillars lit up by big
Yeah.
green light.
Whatever happened to that? Why don't we have that anymore? You know?
Well, it's still 18 years away, Nick. We're developing that technology.
True that. Just massive lights that go into the sky. Every astronomer is just like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking joking me?
In the AD Police Tower. Now, okay, something about this show and like its related universe of shows is there are a few other shows that take place with the same concepts, and one of them is an AD Police specific show.
Okay.
I haven't watched it.
Wait, so this is interconnected with AD
Not
Police.
really, but like
Okay.
there is an AD Police show. There's another couple of shows about boomers, but I haven't watched any of those other ones.
Oh, interesting. So
I don't think they really interact at all.
So when you say there's other shows with boomers,
Yeah.
are they specifically also named boomers?
Yeah.
Huh. But they're not in the same universe.
Not explicitly, I don't think.
Huh. Intriguing. Very intriguing.
So, an as yet unnamed police call center worker.
An 18-year-old.
What dispatch officer? Is that what they call them?
Yeah, it could be a dispatch officer. It
Yeah.
could be just like a desk worker.
Yeah. So
Hard to say.
she's like, nothing to do today. No mad boomer incidents for me to report.
She's got
I'm
moxie.
I'm thinking about changing to another job.
She's got spunk.
Yeah,
She's got pizzazz.
She is kind of like the comic relief young
Yeah.
member of the team, as we'll come to see.
She's the one who can get the job done. But in the right way? Well, I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
She accidentally killed 3 dogs.
So-
but the criminal scum got caught.
Okay. What?
This is my new application method, is just being like, if they're a comedic relief, how are they comedy relief? Well, something bad happened, but the good thing happened too. That's the kind of character she is. She's like, oh, I guess I'm doing this now. Well, we did destroy a building, but I saved the main character.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Exactly. That's who she
Yeah.
is, kind of.
So she's just like fucking with her coworker, being like, I'm thinking of changing my job. I could become one of the Night Savers. You know, she is one.
And then
So-
the lady right next to her is like, are you
kind of
having
a weirdo.
Are you having a stroke right
Yeah.
now? Like, you have a good, stable job?
She gets a call from 2 other characters. They're going to be our recurring representatives of the AD police and like the 2 members of it with a conscience. They're the ones who are like, they're out there patrolling the streets. They are frustrated with the lightsabers, but they share their common goal of protecting people from boomers. They aren't like corporate stooges like a lot of the other ones we'll see here.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, I hate the lightsaber, I want to kill them. They're just like, oh.
Like Leon kind of is at first.
Well, Leon's more like,
Leon's,
they keep getting
Leon's a
there
loose
first.
cannon. He's hot-headed. His partner Daly, who is unnamed in this episode, but his name Daly, is the sort of more like, oh, my stupid hot-headed partner.
Yeah, but even Leon's like, I want to get there first and get it done. Those lightsabers keep taking the glory.
Yeah. But anyway, he's chatting on the phone to, little does he realise, one of those very same lightsabers. He's driving his car with a joystick, as we all do.
Oh, why can't we have cars with joysticks? Why, Liam? Why?
Well, sign up for my Kickstarter for Joy Cars and...
What was that? Do you remember? I don't know if you'll remember this. There was a massive arcade machine at 8 cinemas in Midland at one time.
Okay.
Okay, stick with me here. Where...
We're taking all sorts of trips back in time today.
It was a mech game that had 2 joysticks.
Oh yeah, I do remember this.
It was like
I don't know what it was called.
Yeah, it started with like a T or something, but you like use them instead
sort of like boxing motions.
Not boxing, but like to move, you would have both go forward, and it would move, and then both go back. Oh, but if you want to turn, one would go forward, the other would go back, and it was like actually it works, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
and it was fast, and it was fun, and I want to buy that arcade machine,
but I can't help you.
I can't. But I'm glad you remember it. I'm not going crazy.
Nick, don't you know how crazy you sound right now?
No.
What's a video game?
There were 2 joysticks.
There was never a cinema in Midland.
But I sat down in the chair. I walked out of the movie.
It's the nightlife district.
Sure.
Cyberpunk Kazuma Kiryu is even now stalking the streets, getting into street fights with boomers and cyberpunk wastoids.
He's eating takoyaki and going, oh.
Sleazy co-worker is taking Lena on what she doesn't realise is a date.
Now, see, that doesn't sound very consensual. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. He starts explaining things in a
This is the area of the city where desires of adults are fulfilled.
No
matter what your desire, if you want it bad enough, it'll happen.
I think when we were watching it, we were like, can I have a tall glass of milk? Can I go to bed before 10
And we
PM?
see like shots of like brothel signs and like
drug outlets
and like homeless guys squatting in the
homeless
alley.
guys playing Go with, is that a monkey? Oh no, that's a trash bag.
Easy mistake to make.
No baboon, just trash bag.
So she's like, have you heard about the lightsabers? And he's like, no.
I don't believe in
They do
justice.
a lot of damage to our company image because we are involved in the boomer industry. It's just not possible for boomers to go berserk. But if it was, that's why we have the AD police. It's a real nice double think.
Yeah.
We've got the boomer fighting SWAT team, but we don't need them because boomers can't go berserk.
But it's a good thing we have them.
Yeah.
If they did go berserk.
Yeah.
But they won't.
They don't.
No,
So
of course not.
It's good we have them.
Yeah, but it's good they're there.
Yeah.
You know.
For if the boomers went to berserk.
Yeah,
which they can't.
They can't go
No.
berserk. But if they did...
We've got the AD police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we don't need.
We give 60% of the city budget to the AD police.
What does AD stand
I
for?
don't. Maybe it might be like advanced or something like that. Or
Do you reckon they just chucked
let
it in
me,
there?
Let me
because-
look it up.
Do you reckon they put it in there just because it's like the year is 2040? AD. The police. The AD police.
AD Police Files is a 3-part OVA spin-off of Bubblegum Crisis.
There you go. Does it say what AD stands
Advanced Police.
for? God fucking damn it.
Police Plus.
New game police.
There's also AD Police to protect and serve. Like I said, there's a bunch of...
Spin-offs.
Yeah.
It's just like, one of the episodes is them being like, oh, this boomer, it trapped itself in this house. Why did it do that? It was scared of judgment from other people. Why is that? Because it's a fucking boomer and I hate it.
Lena
I get
sees
it now.
a big poster of Pris's face and she recognizes her steely gaze and sees the red text saying, featuring Pris.
It's italicized. It looks like Arial font with an outline on it.
2 exclamation points.
It's very exciting.
And she's like, that woman. Meanwhile, sleazy guy's like, why don't we stop talking about work and go get something to eat?
Puts his arm around her,
Yeah.
massive red flag.
Meanwhile, in a boomer factory, a boomer starts to go nuts. Its eyes shut down for a second, and they turn on a red light, and we cut to inside its core, where its computer parts start to go nutty and like develop
Mutate?
this, mutating.
Genome?
Like it starts to get all fleshy in there.
Yeah, like it starts getting organic and weird. And then
at a lovely restaurant.
You're just gonna skip the riff?
Not at a. Oh yeah, so we cut to an ad, and there
An
is-
ad?
It's an ad break.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay, that's fair. It's the middle bit. It's the mid portion.
The like mid card they call them.
Yeah, and it has a sick lick.
Yep.
A sick jazzy lick.
I think it's rocky, but
And I say it's 90s jazzy. But that's fine. That's fine.
meanwhile, in the Silky Doll, a large building dominated by an aquarium.
You know, the silky dolls in the aquarium.
We learn over the course of this show, like in the next episode or two, it's a lingerie store, which is predominantly an aquarium.
I understand now.
A woman gets a.
It's very like
I was going to call her an unnamed woman, but the first thing that said is her name. So
I thought you were going to be like.
she is unnamed for a few moments until she is in fact named.
I thought you were trying to like get around the term a woman. No. It's just like, well, I don't want to say woman.
I don't want to diminish her.
Look, I don't want to, typecast her as a boy. She can be whatever she wants to be.
Anyway, so there is a woman, she's working in this clothing shop, just like tending to the clothes at night with no lights on, as you do.
Tending, quote
and then
unquote.
She gets buzzed by some sort of phone that we can't see.
It's the future, Liam.
Lady Celia, please come to the pit. We've confirmed the reaction. And she's like, boomers. She doesn't say it, but you can tell she's thinking
You
it.
can tell. Lina is like, I didn't bring a watch.
I can't tell what time it is because it's night and the sundial isn't working. Do you know what time it is? And he's like, hey, you shouldn't be asking me what time it is. You've got no one to go home to.
Another red flag.
Yep.
And she's like, oh.
Sorry. Wait, why am I apologizing?
Good on her for saying that, yeah.
Meanwhile, on some sort of like airstrip, Press is leaning against her motorcycle and gets...
It's not even leaning against her motorbike.
leaning against a trash can with
leaning
her
against
motorcycle nearby and gets buzzed. And then the unnamed police dispatcher lady is running down the street in like her dressing gown and shower cap, being like, oh, what bad timing. And she's jogging on the side of the road and a cyberpunk car comes and picks her up.
And she's like, oh, finally.
Yeah. Creepy guy touches Lena's leg and she's like, bye.
I'm leaving, and he's like, whoa, now, you don't want to
can't leave. I assess the new employees. I could tell the middle management boomer what to think.
And you would be a deep shit for that, wouldn't you,
Yeah.
Lena?
But this moderate sexual harassment is...
Moderate? Excuse me? Moderate?
Yeah.
This isn't moderate.
It's heavier than light.
This is full-blown, like...
Sexual coercion.
Yeah, basically coercion and blacksmithing? That's not...
Blacksmithing, yeah. To build a
Blackmailing.
boomer.
Yeah, blacksmithing a boomer. The sexual harassment cases.
Is interrupted by the boomer, now looking incredibly more organic. It's got a mouth with fangs and all.
It's huge, it's jacked.
Yeah, it busts in and is making a screech noise we're going to be hearing a lot of. I'll see if I can find an isolated sample of it and drop it into the...
That's the title of this episode. Just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I don't know if I could physically make that sound.
It's a very mechanical noise.
Yeah. But, so he's jacked. I say he. It. Fucking boomers.
Boss guy immediately runs away, abandoning Lena, and like starts pushing through the crowd.
Being like, let me out, I'm important, I'm below middle management.
Quick cut to the AD police getting paged to go deal with that boomer, and they're like, oh man, we just left that area. Quick, hurry, I don't want them to get here, they're ahead of us. The boomer is, it's causing some trouble.
It's very, so...
People are screaming and somehow Lena gets separated from everyone.
To give you an idea of this boomer, imagine, like...
It's orange.
For a start, it's orange.
Much like Lena's clothing.
It looks like, imagine when Bane from Batman takes Venom, the drug, from Batman, and he gets all huge and jacked. You know when that happens?
Yep.
Yeah. And then imagine if that was orange.
And you stuck a bunch of lead pipes in his shoulders.
Oh, not just lead pipes, but also what appears to be an engine of some kind.
Possibly an intercontinental ballistic device.
Just a fucking missile. With very small legs.
Skipping leg day.
Yeah, that's basically... If you look up Bane with very small legs, I think you'll find what you're looking for.
robot.
But a robot. His legs are like hands as well, kind of.
So she's running up a fire escape to escape it, and it's like it's got disturbingly like childish speech as it's chasing her. It's like, let's play. Hey, let's clean up and play.
Because it was a cleaning robot?
No, because we saw her working in a factory. Unless it was like a trash sorting
something
factory.
like that. Yeah, maybe.
You know, trash factories where they make trash.
That's a real thing.
Garbage. If you're fancy.
High artisanal trash. So
Lady Cilia is driving her cyberpunk car with an MMO trackpad.
And she... and
Right?
I mean, it does have a lot of buttons on it, I will admit.
What are those things that are instead of dice, it's a ball?
What?
Sorry, instead of mice, it's a ball?
What are you talking about? Instead of mice, it's a ball.
So, like...
I mean a mouse ball?
Yeah.
Where it's just a big red ball from the 90s?
Well, the one I'm thinking of is blue, but yes.
What the hell? There's no blue one.
So imagine on your computer where you would have a computer mouse on your desk.
Yeah.
Instead of your computer mouse, it's a stationary holder with a ball.
Yeah, a big red ball.
Turning the ball.
Yeah.
Pondering that orb, if you will.
No,
Communes with the computer.
Commune with the orb.
So she's driving like that with one hand. Very high tech, very cyberpunk.
Very.
And she's issuing orders to the other two who are in the back, being like, "You've checked your self-starters, right? Pay attention to your power gauges at all times." And they're like, yeah, we know how to fight robots. And she's like, "Destroy it." And we see like her face light up twice as they take off.
We do not see any gauges ever again
No,
in this episode.
not in this episode, but it does become
Oh.
a significant point.
Oh, okay.
They've got to watch their power gauges.
God damn it, my gauge is empty.
Like, not to give too much away, but like how in Evangelion, which you haven't seen.
I have not.
Okay, but in episodes of that, like, their robots are attached to, like, the city's power grid or whatever, like power cables.
I see.
So
So then
protect their power cables.
Right, I see.
Anyway, she's getting attacked by this big old boomer. She's hanging from a crumbling fire escape. But then a beautiful blue mech suit drops out of the sky and punches and kicks it.
On the fire escape.
Yeah, and then it hangs from the fire escape and wordlessly indicates to Lena that she should drop down, and a red mech suit. And when I say mech suit, it's not like a Big O or an Evangelion. It's roughly the size of a person.
Yeah,
it's like an Iron Man suit.
It's a what's the Power Rangers original people? What are they called?
The Power Rangers original people.
You know how the Power Rangers
like a Sentai thing?
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Or
a
a
Sentai.
Kamen Rider?
Yeah, it's like a Kamen Rider.
But robot.
Or the one with the big beetle head.
Big Bad Beetleborg?
Yeah, like
or
a big-
Kamen Rider again.
Yeah, both of those. Like a big bad Beetleborg size suit. Like it's a big mech suit.
A Metabot.
It's like a Metabot.
But twice as big.
Because Metabots are about like down to your thigh.
Yeah.
But these, and that's when you're a kid as
Okay,
well. when I think
imagine
about it.
like the Pokemon Machoke.
I was gonna
One
say
of the ones that's basically just a big guy.
Yeah.
And then turn it into a robot, and then you climb inside it.
It's like Agumon from Digimon.
Okay. A dinosaur.
If he were to evolve into... Sorry, Digivolve.
Into his penultimate form, Metal War Greymon.
I was going to say into a different...
Metal Greymon.
A different Digimon that was just a metal suit of
Actually,
armor.
when I think about it, when I cast my mind back to Digimon,
Yeah.
Agumon eventually evolves into
The massive, huge dinosaur with the metal head.
War Greymon, which kind of looks
Yes.
like one of these,
It does, kind of, yeah.
but more dinosaur-y.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Anyway, so it's there, and yeah, she's like, "You want me to jump? No way!" And then we learn this robot person, because we have no media literacy, so we can't put two and two together. This robot person is Pris, because it does the same, you've got a scar on your head motion that she did when she was on the motorcycle earlier. And this shocks Lena enough that she falls. The other woman is watching her fall, then is like, "Oh yeah," and then boosts up with her jetpack to
I was
catch
going
her.
to say, the other thing that made her fall was the explosion.
Oh yes, because then Pris activated like the explosive mines on her fist.
Or leg or something?
That's her fist.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they've all, as we'll learn over the coming weeks, they've all got like a special unique weapon in their suit. And Pris's is that she's got like bombs on her fist essentially.
Right.
For punching.
For punching.
Yeah.
As you do.
And then she beats the crap out of this robot. Its head falls off and lands on the street near where Lena is.
And it's just like...
A mask of agony.
It is an
But why could a robot feel pain, Nick?
It's not pain. It's a boomer.
And then the AD police show up and like, damn, we missed all the action again.
Those damn justice police.
And then, as we alluded to earlier, the news broadcast is like, another beautiful morning in Megalo City.
Nothing
The news
wrong.
is, nothing happened last night.
Guess what? The boomers are still working as intended.
Citizens, please give thanks that you're able to live in such a peaceful city. This program is presented by the Genham Corporation, the leaders in boomer technology.
Oh, God. Just...
And then it's the next day at the office. Sleazy co-worker is like, wow, rough night last night, huh? And we see on his desk that he's clearly got a photo of his wife and kid.
And we're like, wow, this guy's worse than we could
Yeah.
have ever imagined. Lina is just like, yeah, it was a pretty crazy night.
Thanks for everything last night. Can I express my
gratitude?
Oh, maybe tonight? And he's like, no. She's like, no, I want to do it now. And she punches him in the face.
And he's all like, gah!
Hooray! Da-da-da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, that night...
Pris walks out of a grungy back door.
And other people's voices are like, hey, Pris, stay for a drink tonight. No. Okay, well, great as always tonight, they say.
And she walks out, she puts on her helmet.
Gonna drive away, but then there's a shadowy figure in the alleyway. Could it be a boomer? No. It's Lina. And she's like, I want to be a Night Saber.
And Pris is wordless and like,
Huh. She does a lot of being wordlessly like, huh.
Yeah, without saying huh.
Nick, what do you think of these 3 to 4 protagonist archetypes we've seen so far?
Well, we've got Lina, who is the outgoing protagonist.
Yep, she's new to town. She's our point of view intro to this crazy world of boomers and cyberpunks.
The proxy, if you will.
Yeah.
We've got Pris, the too cool to talk character.
She is too cool to talk, and she's a rock star.
We've got the talks too much because I work as a police dispatch officer character.
18 years old.
Boisterous, moxie, spunk, pizzazz, zwam.
It's true, Zwam.
Big zwam energy.
And we've got their boss, who drives the car.
Who's cool-headed, like, please take care of yourselves and don't fucking die, please.
Try to bring it back in one piece this time, Pris.
Come on, Bond. Try not to fuck the suit this time. Sorry, Q.
It's just, I see that sleek metal chassis and I can't resist.
God damn it, Bond. Every time. Well, they're pretty unique.
They're pretty.
They're pretty unique at this point in time.
Yep. But they're like pretty established archetypes.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
We know what we're dealing with when we get there.
We'll unpack them.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll break those stereotypes down.
So, Nick, what were our highlights and lowlights for this first episode of Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040? Can't buy a thrill. And what indeed was the thrill they couldn't buy? Was it getting attacked and or killing a giant robot?
I was going to say, the thrill you can't buy is sexual exploitation of your co-workers.
Yes.
Which, thank fuck for Lena standing up for herself.
You also can't buy the thrill that is your delicious lunchtime sandwich because a rude motorcyclist ruins it.
God damn. The coffee was like literally asphalt. I want to say my highlight is going to be the... I want to say the recognition of Pris on the poster.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say that's my highlight because it's like, it's so obvious the way they make it happen, but at the same time you're like, oh. And it has the stupidest font I've ever seen. And I was like, this pleases me. This pleases me that they clearly did not go that far for the font, but the eyes.
Sure,
The
yeah.
eyes. Yeah. Just, I like that bit. It's a good little bit of realization. Your highlight?
I like the bit where the boomer middle manager is like, I'm a boomer middle manager and I'm disapproving of you. Because it's like, I think that's probably the, more than like all the manual labor and customer service boomers we see, like it shows the like extent to which this technology has penetrated society.
And the fact that it's just a normal android.
Yeah.
And it's so normalized and you're like,
But, and like it's being so frustrating, like, but like in that robotic neutral tone.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like every middle manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it.
Lowlights.
My low light is going to be the sky hook the first time we learn about it, because it's not very obvious what the fuck they're talking about. Where it's just like, oh yeah, you can tell from that. And I was like, what are you talking about? I see nothing. And then they're like, oh yeah, the screen has gone a bit dark and there's this bit in the middle. I'm like, again, what the fuck are you talking about?
Wait, this bit in the middle, do you mean the light coming through my window?
Yeah! Yeah, okay, I could have mistook it for the light in the window, right? It's like, it's so thin on the screen.
Sure.
I'm like, what the hell are we talking about?
It's a space elevator.
Yeah, once I saw, oh, there's a space elevator there. Oh, from the shot, okay then. That's how I got it. But up until that point, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, lady? The hell is a skyhook? What?
My low light maybe is...
Not sexual harassment.
No, because that was for a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like narratively, I mean.
Yes, of course. Clip that.
Maybe it was just like unnamed police dispatcher girl, like being cute in her work cubicle. Just like, yeah, okay, we don't know everything this character is about now.
Yeah. She literally sits there all day, just being like, another hard day. It's like, you didn't do anything. Oh.
I like that character, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Just like that one, like, of all like the trite character introduction moments in this episode, that's the one that was like the most like
Trite.
yeah. So, Nick.
Yes.
Lena wants to be a night saber.
Yep.
Pris did not respond.
She just drove away.
What will happen in episode 2 of Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040?
I swear, if the name of the episode is How to Become a Night Saber.
No, this is a great show for JoJo's World to continue the musical exploration we take because all of the episodes are named after
Music references.
Yeah. Episode 2, Fragile.
Oh, that's it, just fragile.
Yep.
Not that kind of fragile.
No, that's not what the line is.
Wait, what's the line?
I'm fragile, but I'm not that fragile.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks. Fragile. I wonder what that could imply. Maybe it's going to comment on the fragility of the society that we live in. Okay, well, I reckon the first thing that's going to happen is Lena will just be like, yo, a boomer went mad. And then someone's going to pull her aside and be like, don't you dare say that.
Miss, I'm from the Genom Corporation.
No, not even that. Just like unnamed friend.
Yep.
Who let her fall over and was like, you klutz.
Yeah.
She'll just be like, whoa, you can't say that. You can't say things about
You can't say that boomers go mad. We sell boomers.
Exactly.
Or make them or something.
You can't do that. It's like, well, can I talk to you after work? It's like,
No.
absolutely
I'm
not.
going out with the sleazy co-worker.
I'm fucking his wife right now. And
I need you to distract him.
So I reckon someone's going to pull her aside and just be like, don't you dare mention that whole kerfuffle. Then she'll try
Slight boomer kerfuffle.
Yeah, the slight boomer kerfuffle. Then she'll get
I hear
into...
kerfuffled boomers don't exist, but if they did, we've got the AD police.
We have the AK police. Then she'll get into another situation with another boomer.
Oh my god, all these boomers going rogue.
Around her, specifically.
Ah.
Yeah.
Something about her?
Something about her. No, probably not her.
Okay.
But she just happens to be there a second time.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh,
you were
why
there
me?
again. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I want to be a night saver.
And then Pris will just be like, twice now you were around boomers that went mad.
This intrigues me.
Why were you there again? It's like, I didn't know. It's like, there's got to be something about you.
Welcome to the night sabers, baby.
And then she won't join as a night saber, but they'll be like, so here's what we do. And then she might like watch as they do stuff.
She'll refuse the call first, Real Hero's Journey.
No. She's not going to refuse. She's going to be like, I want to be a night saber.
And they'll be like, no.
Yeah, exactly. No, they'll be like, well, we can't let you just come with us, but you can sit and watch with our
Do
good
a ride
friend here."
along.
Yeah. And she'll be like, wow, they're even more amazing than I thought.
I saw them on the net in my hometown, but this is something else.
This is on another screen that's not the net.
Yeah, this is on the local area network.
So something like that's going to go down,
Yeah.
I think.
What kind of boomer will they fight?
So the last one was arguably a
factory
trash
worker
collector
sort of situation.
some kind of thing. This one might be... Because, from this episode, the way I think they work is that they take on more of the personality of the thing that they are doing.
Okay.
So, like, this one was working at a trash factory. It wanted to clean things up. So, its personality revolved around, we want to clean things up. Let's have fun. Let's clean it all up.
Sure, yeah.
You know? The next one might just be like a traffic controller.
Okay.
That's my assumption.
And we'll find out next time on JoJo's World. Nick, are we going to have a new theme song for this?
I can try, but I don't know.
Okay.
I can make a really cheesy fucking sci-fi sounding thing.
All right.
I could make a dystopian future sci-fi thing.
I mean, we could always bring back JoJo Wave if need be, because that
need
had the
be.
right vibe.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Sure.
Yeah.
Keep me posted.
Okay.
And I'll keep the listeners posted when I keep ribbing you about this at the end of podcast episodes. But until then,
To be continued.